Let's do it. It's okay. So anyway, Brooke, why don't you share a little bit about your background and what you do, and then we'll delve deep.
Sure. So I do EFT tapping or emotional freedom technique. That's what it stands for. And it's one of my favorite emotional healing methods. I first stumbled across it like probably in 2016. And all I did was follow some YouTube video. And I think it was from Nick Ortner, who is the founder of the Tapping Solution, which he really helped make it kind of popular because he created a documentary. And the Tapping Solution app, that's actually an app that I recommend to a lot of my clients to do on tapping on their own. I don't feel like it's a substitute for working with a practitioner because as you're going to be able to probably see here a little bit with Deanna, it gets really, personal, and we can go into a lot more things in depth when it's, when you're working with a practitioner. And I say that not only as a practitioner, but as a client who has received her own sessions. So it's basically a technique where you tap through very specific meridian points. And if you've never seen this done before, it looks really bizarre, it looks really weird. You might feel weird doing it, but
yes, I can attest to that.
but it works. So I don't care how I look, as long as something works, I'm down for it. And while we're tapping, what we're doing is we are voicing out whatever the emotions are or whatever, is bothering us, basically. And in doing so, what we're doing is we're telling the amygdala part of our brain, that, fight or flight part of our brain, that it can calm down. Like, it's literally with every tap that you're doing on these specific meridian points, you're telling it to calm down. So like, if you're nervous getting on an IG live, or you're having technical difficulties and your fight or flight's probably going off like mine did, I'm tapping right now, and you can't really see me, but I'm tapping on my collarbone point. Anyways, but it just tells your body that it can calm down, it's okay, everything is safe. And then we're also just getting rid of the emotional intensity behind whatever feelings, came up, or whatever you're feeling. So that's what EFT tapping is in a nutshell. It's really a really great method for dealing with if you've had traumas of any kind. Like there's actually clinical studies that have been done that shows the effectiveness of PTSD, people like veterans, for example. It's really great for if you have phobias, like lots of people have gotten rid of phobias with doing this technique. Pretty much about anything, even physical pain and like chronic conditions like that. It can be very helpful for that. So really, actually, you can come to me with anything.
So I'm looking down just because that's where you're at, Brooke, on my other phone. And up here's the phone that has the camera. So sorry if I look weird, guys, but I just feel better to look at Brooke. I've been looking at like a black screen staring at myself. Anyway, yeah, when she's talking about like the physical, yesterday, through my session, I literally had this sharp, intense pain in my chest, like almost like at the beginning, like as soon as it got too serious, like too deep, too fast. And she's like, how are you feeling? I'm like, oh, I'm feeling pain in my chest. And so we kept going, and I felt like relief. I felt like, I don't want to say light, yeah, maybe lightheaded, a little bit dizzy, because you brought that up, like, do you feel dizzy? I'm like, yes, that's the word. But there's so much happening, and you literally feel like the shifts in energy in your body as you're tapping through these traumas, these events that happened in the past. So you can definitely feel it. You can feel the shifts. I actually feel really good today, by the way. It's been a long day. And it's a good day though.
If I can say so, you look good. So I'm glad that you're feeling good after the session.
Yeah, the first one was a little more intense.
Well, I think, probably what we needed to do with you for your first session is do a lot more tapping just before we got into, so with Deanna for her first time, I'm not going to say like what exactly we worked on, but we worked on like a memory for her that, that came up. And I think we probably jumped into it a little bit too fast for her. And so this time around, I really made sure that we did a lot of just regular tapping, on sort of surface level things. And then that kind of, I think opened the door for us to go delving into some deeper memories, which I utilize specific techniques that with these types of techniques, you can't find it in a tap along video because it's pretty in depth. But basically, I use techniques with her to go into memories and work on basically the young version of Deanna, the one that's still holding on to this negative emotional charge and the trauma that was connected with the issue that we were working on. And even Deanna, she's like, I had no idea we were going to go down that road. And that's usually like the response that I get. You can literally be taken anywhere by the subconscious mind. And it brings it up for a reason. It's because it's like, thank you, you're bringing this up so we can release it, right? And so that's really what the whole point of doing this is. And that's why I love it so much.
So someone just asked that they just stepped in and they want to know what we're talking about. We're talking about EFT tapping. Brooke does emotion code, body code, and tapping. And so we're discussing what it looks like and what the session looks like. So it's interesting because she said, so just a little background. I used to do what's called ACRT. It's very similar. I honestly think it's a different technique to do the same thing. We're trying to retrain the brain, right? Create new neuronal pathways to eliminate that trauma response associated with the memory. So I used to do that. And the last time that I went to, her name is Socorro Brown, and actually she's on IG now, and she had cancer, so she was slowing down a bit. But I will, after this, tag her so you guys can go take a look at her page, because she does something different. She's not working with people right now because of her illness, but you might be able to read a little bit about what she does. So the last session that I had gone with her, it ended up touching on these memories that I was like, I told her, I'm like, I'm having nightmares, and this is like a little bit too intense for me. And she's like, these aren't nightmares, these are memories coming back. You're ready to process them. And I don't think I'm the only person who experiences trauma and doesn't remember it. Like, I don't remember half of my childhood. I don't remember a lot of stuff. And it's crazy because I actually don't even remember details of the first tapping session I did with you. I was trying to recall them today because I didn't want to discuss the whole thing, but I wanted to discuss some parts of it. I'm like, I can't even remember. Like, I really can't remember, just because it was so traumatic. Not the tapping session itself, but the trauma that we dealt with. And that was the last time I had gone to Socorro, was when she told me, like, you're ready to deal with this. Because in my conscious mind, I'm like, I'm not ready to deal with this. Like, I don't want to go down that path. And so when we started tapping the first time with you, because again, yesterday was my second time, like, I don't even remember how it happened, but we went straight to that. And I was like, nope, I can't do this. And I literally got an instant migraine. And I'm not saying that this is for you guys, but like, I'm one of those people. I'm saying that it's not for you guys that you're going to get an instant migraine. But I'm one of those people that doesn't ask for help. Like, I want to do everything on my own, and, like, the house is on fire, but I'm going to deal with it on my own. That's not good, but that's me. Like, that's how I am. And so Brooke asked me several times, she could see it in me. She's like, are you okay? Like, let's keep keep tapping through. And I was like, no, I'm fine. But I wasn't fine, but I didn't want to, accept her help. And she told me, like, if you don't feel well after this, like, just let me know, and we'll continue tapping. I'll surrogate tap for you to, like, help you out. And I did not reach out to her until the next day. And after the session, it was so intense emotionally. And I know that there was, like, a lot of stuff happening physically for me. And I know I was releasing some of the trauma because I felt it. I literally had a migraine. I was in St. George working on House of Hurts, and I was in bed. I was done the whole rest of the day. I want to say we tapped around 2 p.m. and I was done. I couldn't continue. And Veronica can attest that, like, I'm a push person. Like, I can keep going and going. Even if I'm exhausted physically, I can keep going. But that was like, my body said, nope, like, you need to process through this. You need to rest. You need to take care of you. And so I say that because I think that it's really important for people to address the emotional side of healing. There's so many people that are like me. Maybe some people have the heart walls or blocks that don't want to get in touch with that side or deal with the emotional traumas that they've experienced, because it's tough. Like, I didn't want to go down that rabbit hole. And, my session yesterday led back to that same path. Why? Because, like, I'm 33, and I think that all of those things, not dealing with them, is catapulting me into these traumatic experiences attracting, parasites, for lack of a better word, people around me who take, because I'm not dealing with my trauma as a child. And as much as I want to heal physically, this has to be addressed. And so, I'm ready to do it. I think I evaded Brooke for, I don't know, maybe a month, because she's like, we need to get you back in for your tapping session. I was like, yeah, I'm really busy, but I'm
Yeah,
ready now.
she's like blowing me off now. I understand. And if you listen to some of Deanna's stories, you'll understand why she was so resistant. This what she's talking about, where you can't remember like your childhood, you can't remember trauma sites, you can't remember. I was reading Veronica's comment about parasites. When you can't recall trauma, it's because there's something called dissociation that happens. It's a protective mechanism, like Deanna was mentioning. So what happens when you're in some kind of trauma, when the fight or flight is exhausted, what usually ends up happening is you go into freeze. And when you go into freeze, you develop what's called something like a trauma capsule. So this trauma is literally encapsulated, and that's why you can't remember. You can kind of view it as like a capsule that you take for a vitamin almost, and imagine the capsule is like that part that makes it dissociate, like that makes it so you can't remember it. Now, when you start to remember these trauma capsules, or these trauma capsules start to breach, that's when we start to have memories. Like with Deanna, things were starting to breach for her. And why does that happen? Like just over time, it takes an enormous amount of energy to hold on to these traumas. And so after a while, your body gets exhausted. And that's why a lot of people, when they're older, when they're adults, they're like, oh my gosh, I just remembered this, and this happened when I was 5. And it was because your body was literally protecting you for that long. But again, it's so much energy to keep that contained that it ends up starting to breach, and that's when you start to see these problems. And I think it's important to note too that, with traumas, a lot of times we end up kind of attracting the same situations, right? Getting into the same relationships, attracting the same types of people into our lives, same kind of jobs with the crappy boss who doesn't listen or value whatever you say. Like, the list is endless. Why that's happening is your body, your subconscious mind is trying to like complete the trauma where everything originated from. Okay. And so what it's trying to do by attracting these similar people is to complete the trauma loop. But what ends up happening is it just keeps reinforcing the same loop. So that's why tapping is really great, because we can stop that trauma loop and get you out of there, so that you don't have to keep attracting these same types of situations anymore. And this is not to say that it's not your fault, because again, this is not your fault. It's at a subconscious level. You don't even know, what's going on. And before I knew any of this, like I would look at someone who gets into an abusive relationship repeatedly and wonder what's going on. Well, now I know what it is. And so my heart really goes out to people who are kind of stuck in that loop. And that's why I really am passionate about sharing a method like tapping, because it can help you get out of that loop. So,
Yeah. And talking about that, so tapping is not the same as emotion code body code. And I learned that because we do have tons of clients who do emotion code body code, and tapping is not something that is an avenue that a lot of people go through. We do have clients who do tapping, but not as many. I think it's because it's a lack of education. It's a lack of knowing how powerful it really is. I just saw Veronica's comment about the parasites. It's so crazy. So yesterday after our session, Brooke, I felt good. I felt really at peace. And then I want to say like an hour later, I had like this intense abdominal pain, like just cramping, and I was like, I don't feel good. And I don't want to say I passed a parasite, but maybe I did. I was like, okay, and I felt better afterwards. But it's true what Veronica's saying, because she knows a lot more of my private life, and the conflict that I have with family, because I don't have a good relationship with a lot of people in my family. I tend to go that path where it's like, okay, I'm cutting off this door. This is something new for me. Like, not not a lot of people know, but people who do know me, I am not a boundary setter. I am I am learning to be a boundary setter. I have always been very passive and allowed for people to come and take. And this year is the year that I was just messaging Veronica after this, like, we are Phoenix is rising because this year has tested us. This year has been in my personal life as well as in our company. We have been rocked like so many different ways, and it's crazy because what you were saying about like the cycle and how our body subconsciously will attract, or we will attract. It's not that we want these negative people in our lives or these negative experiences, but we recreate them. We find ways subconsciously to recreate the same trauma, the same experiences. And that, I know I'm not the only one, but that happened in my personal life and it happened in business. Like, something so recent as somebody reaching out to me to become a part of our company. Why me? Why not Veronica? Why did they come through me? It's like, and I fell for it, and it literally almost tore us apart. Like, it was a very traumatic experience. I think that's actually what our first tapping started with, if I remember, was that experience. Am I right, Brooke? I feel like
I
it was
feel like that sounds right. Yeah.
yes, it was about that, and then it catapulted into this traumatic childhood experience of abuse. You know, I don't want to go deep into it, but I do feel like I'm not the only one. It's very common for, unfortunately, it's a sad thing for people to be abused. I actually just saw a post that Lisa Kay shared. You should go see it. It's a reel where it said, stranger danger is not, you're not teaching your children the right thing if you're teaching them stranger danger. And I was like, oh my God, yes. Because people always tell your kids, like, be careful with the strangers. It's not the strangers to the family. It's the close friends. It's those people who tend to abuse or take advantage of children. And so that was my experience. And it was my experience a lot of times and in my life. I have never dealt with that because I just feel like it is what it is. Like, I felt like it was a part of life and I needed to just accept it. And I did, like, or so I thought, but it's basically been like eating away at me this whole time. And it's also catapulted me into these relationships in my adult life where, I was in abusive relationships. And I'm speaking in general because I don't want to speak negatively about anybody, but I allowed that to happen because those were my tools. I had nothing else. I didn't have healthy relationships modeled for me. So my mom, I think, was divorced before I was even born. And her other husband, her second husband, was not a good person at all. So we saw a lot of trauma, a lot of abuse, and I didn't see something healthy. I didn't know what that was like. It's really crazy because when I was younger, I remember going to my friend Brittany's house. I used to be in soccer, and she was sitting on her dad's lap, and I was like, that's disgusting. I remember thinking in my head how disgusting that is. Like, that's perverted, because I don't recognize like a healthy relationship like with the males, with men, and I'm not, my dad did nothing to me, so I want to be very clear about that so that no rumors get spread or anything like that. My dad never abused me in any way, but men did, and so I thought that was just weird for a little girl to be sitting on a grown man's lap and stuff, but that's her dad. The relationships like that exist and they happen and they're healthy. It's just that I don't know about that. And so I say that because I attracted that in my adult life, relationships that were, what can they take from me, not, can we take care of and protect her because she's precious, because she's, valuable. It was like I needed to prove my worth in all my relationships. And when I say all, there's not tons, but in the relationships that I've been in, I've always felt like I'm not good enough. And so we'll segue into yesterday's session. I wanted to keep it light, like I was saying earlier, and I wanted to talk about my weight loss because, or wanting to lose weight, because I'm not actively doing anything in particular. I'm a workaholic. I work 24/7, and that's not conducive to good health. But I'm like, what is it that I'm doing that I'm like consistently gaining weight, gaining weight, gaining weight? And so we started tapping on that, and it ended up going all the way down the path of me and my value and my self-worth and really and with men. And I'm going through a divorce right now that is it's not traumatic because it's actually very peaceful and that there's not conflict, but it's traumatic for me because I think anybody who's going through a divorce, number one, it's like failure. Number two, it's like it's a death. It's you're mourning this relationship, this person, this, lifestyle that you had. And it's really hard. Like, and I've really been internalizing it this whole year because I haven't been able to put energy into it because I'm like, no, I need to do this. I need to do this. I can't be present for it. And I feel like that's what's creating all of the health issues. My, again, the session was about weight loss and we were just tapping through it. And, it ended up leading us down this path of these relationships, these toxic relationships, all the way down to my childhood. We ended up doing 2 memories. And I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for you, Brooke. I want to cry because I'm like, I love you to death. You have
I
a
love
huge
you
heart and
too.
you're a giver. And so I'm really grateful for that. Don't cry again. Okay. But I say that because I wish that like other people really were able to experience what I have experienced with you in the short time that I've been working with you. Because it's only been a few months. We've done a lot of emotion code, but tapping, it's only 2 sessions. And in these 2 sessions, I really feel like I'm just like breaking generational trauma. I really do believe that because the abuse has been generational. It really has been in my family. And it's not, you hear about alcoholics, and the dad was an alcoholic and the grandfather was an alcoholic and the brothers are all alcoholics. It's no different with sexual abuse. It's no different with addictions. You tend to see this pattern, but like at what point, and I don't think anybody consciously wants to live this, but we don't have the tools. How do you break this pattern? And I feel like this is such a huge tool to break the pattern, to create something beautiful for your children and for your future. And I feel good because a part of the tapping, and we're gonna we're not going to go deep into a tapping session because I don't know what's going to happen. And I feel like I'm already vulnerable enough in this place. But we're going to do a session for you guys just to kind of see what that looks like. But through a part of the tapping, she had said something that I literally felt shivers in my body because I'm so depressed about my weight. I'm so unhappy about it. And she's, because I don't want to stay here. This is not here. But she had said something that I was like, oh, she said, this is temporary. This is temporary. And I'm like, oh yeah, it doesn't have to be permanent. This is not who I am. I'm not accepting this. I just need to deal with all the emotional crap and the rest of this will fall off, and, and through the tapping, she's like, that I am beautiful and all these things. And I'm like, it's so foreign to hear these positive things about myself, not to say that, people don't say them. I'm just not receptive to them. I'm very uncomfortable with compliments. I've always been that way. People can say nice things about me, and I'm just like I don't like it. And I used to actually, I would like make a joke out of it and make it negative. Like I would, I don't know. Like it's always been something hard for me. So I am consciously trying to like say thank you when somebody says something nice, and just accept it, versus reject that, because I think that's huge, is to be able to accept kindness from other people. But anyway, if you want, Brooke, we can kind of start, we'll do something light, okay? I don't know. I haven't heard weight loss was light, but then it just went like, 100 miles an hour into a different direction. But anyway, I don't know if we'll go ahead and like sample what that looks like so that you guys can see what a session would look like. So Brooke, go ahead and take the lead.
Yeah, and I want to also mention whoever's here live, if you also suffer or have trouble with weight loss, you can tap along with us as well, because you will receive a benefit as well. It's something called borrowed benefits, and it happens a lot in the group tapping type of session. So I saw Veronica mention in the comments for like some kind of healing circle where we all do tapping together about weight loss or whatever it is, and there's a lot of power to that, because when it's a group of people holding that kind of intention for healing, it amplifies the effects. And so all that to say is, if you're here live and you're self-conscious about your weight, or have issues with weight loss, feel free to follow along. You're going to see, like, Deanna's just going to repeat exactly what I'm doing, and I'm going to guide her.
Help me, guys. Help me, please. I need all the energy.
Yes, you're great. You're doing great. Okay, so it's going to be a little bit difficult. You won't be able to see all the points just because the screen is so small here, but I'll tell you more or less where to tap. So just do your best to follow along. Okay, Deanna, so we're working with you today on weight loss again. Is that right? You want to go there, right?
Sure.
Okay. So when you think about your weight, like what comes up for you, like emotionally or thoughts?
I feel like the heaviness. And again, like I feel like this is not my body. Like this is not who I'm supposed to be.
Okay. So heaviness. This is not me. Okay. Anything else?
No.
Okay. So heaviness, scale of 1 to 10, 10 being pretty high. How intense does this feeling of heaviness feel to you?
Like a 6.
A 6. Okay. And where do you feel this heaviness in your body?
Right here in my chest.
Mm-hmm. And when you think about your weight, how does it make you feel about yourself and what's possible for you?
I feel disgusting.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I think, we have enough things we can kind of work on, and I can also even take some verbiage from yesterday. But we're going to start tapping on, this is called the karate chop point. We're going to do, it's called a setup statement. And we do this part to do something called, to help with something called psychological reversal, just resistance to healing. That's just part of the process. So repeat after me. Even though I feel disgusting.
Even though I feel disgusting.
Because I have all this weight.
Because I have all this weight.
And it's really hard to accept.
And it's really hard to accept.
I'm doing my best to try and accept how I am anyway.
I'm doing my best to try and accept how I am anyway.
Yeah. Even though I feel this heaviness in my body.
Even though I feel this heaviness in my body.
I really feel it in my chest.
I really feel it in my chest.
But I honor and I accept how I feel right now.
But I honor and accept how I feel right now.
Yeah. Even though this is really hard to accept for me.
Even though this is really hard to accept for me.
I love and honor how I feel anyway.
I love and honor how I feel anyway.
Okay. And then starting at the top of the head, I feel so disgusting.
I feel so disgusting.
Yeah. I hate how I look.
I hate how I look.
When I look in the mirror, I am so grossed out.
When I look in the mirror, I'm so grossed out.
I can't fit my clothes anymore.
I can't fit my clothes anymore.
I don't want to buy new clothes.
I don't want to buy new clothes.
Because that feels like I'm giving up.
Because that feels like I'm giving up.
And then you're going to tap on the collarbone point here. It's just right under the bones. This is not me.
This is not me.
And then tapping right on the rib cage. I feel disgusting.
I feel disgusting.
Yeah. And tapping under the arm, like kind of where your bra line is.
Is it
can't
here?
accept, sorry, on the side of the body, like under your arm. Yeah. I can't accept this.
I can't accept this.
I can't accept the way I look.
I can't accept the way I look.
Oh yeah, forgot you're doing the arm part. Deanna remembers the points better than me sometimes. Yeah, all this heaviness I feel.
All this heaviness I feel.
Yeah, it really weighs on me.
It really weighs on me. Oh, sorry.
Over here. But I wonder if I can try to love myself anyway.
If I can try to love myself anyway.
It's really hard.
It's really hard.
Because I don't love what I see when I look in the mirror.
Because I don't love what I see when I look in the mirror.
Yeah. But it's not been a helpful strategy for me.
But it's not been a helpful strategy for me.
to hate on myself.
To hate on myself.
Yeah. I can't hate all of this weight off.
I can't hate all of this weight off.
So maybe I should try the opposite.
So maybe I should try the opposite.
Maybe some compassion.
Maybe some compassion.
Yeah. Maybe I could look at myself the way I would a dear friend or my daughter.
Maybe I could look at myself the way I would a dear friend or my daughter.
Yeah. If my friend or my daughter all of a sudden gained weight,
If my friend or my daughter all of a sudden gained weight,
I don't think I would be as mean to them.
I don't think I would be as mean to them.
No, I think I would say really kind things to
I
them
think I would say really kind things to them
and be there for them.
and be there for them
Yeah, and support them
and support them
and love them.
and love them.
Yeah. I don't think I would say you're disgusting, ill.
I don't think I would say you're disgusting, you.
No. I would say I love you so much.
I would say I love you so much.
It doesn't matter what you look like.
It doesn't matter what you look like.
Yeah. All of this heaviness.
All of this heaviness.
Letting some of it go.
Letting some of it go.
Yeah. Letting some of this heaviness go right now.
I'm letting some of this heaviness go right now.
Okay, let's just pause here. Deanna, take a deep breath for me. Okay. Let's check in with you a little bit. There was like this heaviness in the chest feeling at sort of about like a 6. How does that feel right now? Is it still at a 6? Is it a little bit better?
I feel like it's actually moved to my back, like the same location, but in my back.
Heaviness in the back. Deanna, if you could give an emotion to that sensation in your back, what would it be?
Hate.
Mm.
I'm gonna cry.
It's okay. By the way, crying's normal for these sessions. It's a way of releasing. So, yeah, hate, an emotion of hate towards yourself, would you say?
The world.
Mm. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Let's keep going. All right. So even though I feel this heaviness in my back,
Do I tap?
yeah, just tap with me.
I can't see you because you're delayed, so I'm tapping where I remember.
Okay, that's fine. Even though I feel this heaviness in my back,
Even though I feel this heaviness in my back,
I love and accept myself anyway.
I love and accept myself anyway.
Yeah. Even though I have this emotion of hate in my body,
Even though I have this emotion of hate in my body,
I love myself anyway.
I love myself anyway.
Yeah. Even though this is really difficult for me,
Even though this is really difficult for me,
I love myself for working on myself
I love myself for working on myself
and for doing my best to let this go.
and for doing my best to let this go.
Yeah. Let's tap on the top of the head and just keep going through the points, Deanna.
Okay.
All this heaviness in my back.
All this heaviness in my back.
It feels like hate.
It feels like hate.
Not even at myself.
Not even at myself.
It feels like I have hate towards the world.
It feels like I have hate towards the world.
Like I'm angry at the world.
Like I'm angry at the world.
Because I've gone through so much crap.
Because I've gone through so much crap.
A lot of messed up things happened to me.
A lot of messed up things happened to me.
That should not have happened.
That should not have happened.
And it wasn't my fault.
And it wasn't my fault.
Yeah. But I feel it in my body.
But I feel it in my body.
And I think this weight gain
And I think this weight gain,
I think it's my body trying to get my attention.
I think it's my body trying to get my attention.
It's letting me know I have some things I need to let go of.
It's letting me know I have some things I need to let go of.
And I'm doing it right now.
And I'm doing it right now.
And I've been working hard at it.
And I've been working hard at it.
Yeah. And I love myself for that.
And I love myself for that.
Yeah. This hate that I feel in the back of my body.
This hate that I feel in the back of my body.
It's not a good feeling to have.
It's not a good feeling to have.
I really want to let it go.
I really want to let it go.
I'm going to do my best to let it go.
I'm going to do my best to let it go.
Maybe I can't release all of it right now.
Maybe I can't release all of it right now.
And that's okay.
And that's okay.
I'm doing my best.
I'm doing my best.
And I love myself.
And I love myself.
For trying.
For trying.
To let this go.
To let this go.
Yeah. And I'm so grateful for my body.
I'm so grateful for my body.
Because it's been holding on to so much for me.
Because it's been holding on to so much for me.
Yeah. It's been holding on to so much.
It's been holding on to so much.
Yeah. It's so much energy to hold on to trauma.
It's so much energy to hold on to trauma.
And it's getting a little tired now.
It's getting a little tired now.
So it's getting my attention.
It's getting my attention.
Telling me, hey, maybe we can process some of this now.
It's telling me, hey, maybe we can process some of this now.
And I'm so grateful that I've come across the tools to do so.
I'm so grateful that I've come across the tools to do so.
Okay, let's stop right here, Deanna. Take a deep breath for me. Okay. So that heaviness that was in your back, that feels like hate, has it shifted, or does it feel a little bit lighter?
It feels lighter, and
okay.
Yes, it doesn't feel as intense actually.
Okay, good. Yeah. My next obvious step with Deanna would be to, delve into what might possibly be behind this, like a memory of some kind, but I don't think it's a good time to do that now. But we can at least work with the sensation that is left over. So this heaviness, it was kind of at a 6, then it shifted. It feels a little bit lighter. What number would you give it?
I would give it like a 3 in the middle of my back, like the back of my back, but I don't feel like intense the way I felt it.
Okay. Yeah. So that's good. If there's something still remaining there, would you say that it's still hate? Does that still feel like the best way to describe it? Or do you think that's also shifted?
No, I don't feel like it's hate.
Okay, what has it shifted to?
I don't know, I feel like sadness.
Yeah. How strong does that sadness feel?
Like a 3.
Is that a 3? Okay. If you could give it a color, what color would it be?
Purple blue.
Okay, purple
Between
blue.
them. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see if we can address that remaining, sensation for you, because I don't want you to leave here feeling sad. So we'll do again, set up statement, karate chop point, Deanna. Even though I still have a little bit of heaviness.
Even though I still have a little bit of heaviness.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself anyway.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself anyway.
Yeah, even though I still feel this heaviness in my back.
Even though I still feel this heaviness in my back.
I honor and I accept how I feel right now.
I honor and accept how I feel right now.
Yeah, even though I still feel this heaviness.
Even though I still feel this heaviness.
In my back.
In my back.
I love and accept how I feel anyway.
I love and accept how I feel anyway.
Starting at the top, Deanna, top of the head. I still feel some heaviness in my back.
I still feel some heaviness in my back.
Feels like sadness.
It feels like sadness.
Sadness about what? I'm not sure.
Sadness about what? I'm not sure.
I probably do have a somewhat of an idea.
I probably do have somewhat of an idea.
If I could give it a color, it would be purple blue.
If I could give it a color, it would be purple blue.
This purple blue sadness in my back.
This purple blue sadness in my back.
Yeah. I've been carrying a lot.
I've been carrying a lot.
A lot of sadness.
A lot of sadness.
Yeah, a lot of emotions.
A lot of emotions.
It's really been weighing on me.
It's really been weighing on me.
But I'm so glad that it's coming up.
But I'm so glad that it's coming up.
So that I can let some of it go.
So that I can let some of it go.
Yeah, this has not been easy for me.
This has not been easy for me.
To come face to face with these feelings.
To come face to face with these feelings.
To have these traumas resurface.
To have these traumas resurface.
It's not been easy.
It's not been easy.
But I'm really grateful.
But I'm really grateful
that it's coming up right now.
That it's coming up right now.
So that I can start to release some of it.
I can start to release some of it.
And with every single tap.
And with every single tap.
That's what I'm doing.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. This purple sadness in my back.
This purple sadness in my back.
All this purple sadness in my back.
All this purple sadness in my back.
I wonder if I can let it go.
I wonder if I can let it go.
I'm open to the possibility that I can let it go.
I'm open to the possibility that I can let it go.
Yeah. This purple sadness in my back.
This purple sadness in my back.
Oh, sorry, this purple blue sadness in my back.
This purple blue sadness in my back.
Yeah. Letting it go.
Letting it go.
Letting it go.
Letting it go.
Okay, let's stop here. Take a deep breath. Okay. How are we doing? Still feel something in your middle, in the middle of your back there?
No.
No? Any shifting?
No, I feel, I want to say light because I don't feel light, but I feel maybe at peace. I feel good. I feel good.
Okay. Yeah. And you don't have to tell me like what memory, but did any kind of memory get triggered? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, sometimes this happens, you guys. So you're witnessing, you know, with Deanna, like we worked on the weight issue, right? But again, there's memories associated here, memories that are too deep to demonstrate and go into on an Instagram live. So this is something like that I would work on with Deanna privately, and we would process whatever memory was triggered here, because I know that something was triggered, and because I can tell by her demeanor that something came up. So, but essentially that's how it works, you guys. So you can come in with literally anything. I saw a question with somebody where they asked, you know, do you have to bring up the memory or does the body bring it up? Yes, to both. Like you can bring it up if you want. Like if there is something that's really been bothering you, like you replay it all the time in your head, like we can work on that. But as you noticed, right, we started with weight loss as a general kind of topic, and a general feelings that are common. I feel disgusting and this is not me. I don't like this. And then it triggered a memory. So her subconscious brought it up because it's like, hey, the weight loss, your weight issues, it's not even about this. It's actually connected to this memory. So you can see, you know, how powerful this is a method this can be, because we can go back to that memory, reprocess it, turn it, you know, get rid of the trauma, or the intensity of any feelings from that trauma, and create a better picture. Like that's what I did with Deanna yesterday, and you should have seen her after that session. She looked really like light, happy, and energetic. Not like how she right now. I feel bad because I think she's.
You left me hanging. I like
I'm
literally,
sorry.
I'm stuck right now. I can feel it. And it's not even, it's okay because I know that like you'll help me. But
No, I am.
um,
I'm going to, but I just don't want to do it here
yeah,
on this
absolutely.
call.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't either. But the feelings, yeah. So when she said like, did it bring up a memory? And like it did, but I didn't really think about it. Like it was very like in the back of my head. But then when she asked right now, like it's just like full force. It's right here in front of you, and it's like I'm thinking about it, and it's intense. It's intense. So sorry because I'm like thinking, and then it's yeah. You'll have to help me later.
I'll help you.
Anyway,
Yeah, don't worry. Like when we get off here, I'll help you work through this. I do
but
not leave my clients like this, you guys. Like, don't get any ideas. Like you're gonna walk off feeling better than you did when you started.
But I did want to talk about the memory, what you do, because I think it's really important to for people to understand what that looks like. It's so if you've like we were in the emotional book club, the quantum consciousness emotional book club last year. Amber was in there with us, Brooke actually, and so one of the books that we read, this is what's coming to mind right now, is Dr. Nicola Perez. I can't remember the name of the book right now, but
The
anyway,
work.
how to do the work,
How to do the work.
and one of the things that she talked, I'm literally feeling like dizzy, like lightheaded. One of the things that she talks about in there is about reparenting your child, like the child version of yourself, right? And that's what Brooke does when you go to the memory. So I'm just gonna like say something random. This is not my experience, but let's just say like I was in kindergarten and I got bullied by this kid, and that kid was my crush. Just gonna make something up. And that traumatized me, and that's the memory that came up for me. Um, Brooke will guide you in, I don't want to call it a meditation, but I kind of is, I think, a meditation, to your adult self to go back and look at that vision of that entire experience and be present. So you would have your eyes closed to really concentrate and focus. And I do struggle at the beginning because number one, you have to focus, and I swear I'm like ADHD. And number two, like you have to be vulnerable, so you really tune in to what you're feeling. And so these sessions shouldn't be done like in, your living room with your whole family and friends. Like it really should be in a private setting, and like allow yourself for time afterwards to process. Because the first time that I did it with her, I cried and cried and cried for like probably hours, and I had a migraine. I was not, and we talked about this earlier. It was because I was not choosing to accept Brooke's help that she offered, to help me process. But yesterday I didn't feel any of those things. I cried, but I felt relief. I really felt like a weight was lifted off of me from these traumatic experiences that I had as a child. And so what she does is she'll help guide you to basically re-experience that experience without all of the heaviness of the emotion that it has. So you can actually, she didn't do this on the first time with me. I actually tapped on the first one. I actually tapped through my meditation on my mom and my dad as teenagers when they were fighting, and I was like a baby. Like I couldn't speak, and so she told me like Deanna's a baby, so you're gonna have to communicate with her through touch, because maybe Deanna doesn't understand the words that you're saying. And so I thought it was very powerful because I was literally tapping on my dad to process his anger in the situation. And I was tapping on my mom to give her comfort or relief, I think it was, in that situation. I was a baby. And like, I really feel like that was a true memory. Like, I don't think it's something that I made up. I really feel like I remember that experience. And then the second tapping, I was allowed to shift the whole what actually happened to get the outcome that I needed to be okay. So it's very fluid, and Brooke is really good at guiding to make sure. She even asked some key questions that I didn't even think about to kind of like make me aware of the feelings that I was really feeling, to get in touch with them at that time, my younger self, so that I could process that stuck emotion, that stuck trauma, that stuck experience. And so obviously, like, we're not doing that live, but I want you to know that's the other half of this, like that you go through. And so there are some people who have done it with Brooke, and I think I want to say somebody even left a testimonial. They did like a story or something like that about it, but I think everybody needs this. So if you're like on the fence, like, you need to book with Brooke, especially if your healing is at a standstill. Like, this is that thing that's going to catapult it into, we're going to start getting better. I really believe that.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Deanna, for kind of talking about that. So for those of you who ever, I don't know if you're like me, where you look back on some certain things and you're like, I wish I would have said that, or I wish I would have done that. You can do that. We can do that with the method that I use, the technique that Deanna was talking about. And we can like it's called re-imprinting. So we'll re-imprint this current projection that you have of that memory that you're, currently it's vibrating at a certain frequency. It's one of your many videos stored in your subconscious, and it's playing that tape over and over again. So why not replace that tape with something more empowering and positive? It's not like we negate the past. Nobody's saying that. Like, you could probably still remember whatever original trauma it was. However, if we have a new image kind of covering over that old one, and there's new and more empowering feelings, then that's even better, and it can really change your life dramatically change your life for the better. So
Yeah. It's funny because yesterday on one of on one of the re-imprinting images, Brooke's like, I think he said, do you want to punch him or push him or something? I'm like, I actually do. I'm like, and I felt good. I felt like I can stand up for myself. Like, and that's huge actually. Like, just right now, I'm making that connection that I didn't ever really stand up for myself. Like, and I felt that empowerment when we were doing the visualization of one of the experiences. And actually, I had an experience just recently where I had to stand up for myself. So recent as last night, and I was like, I feel good to speak up and say, hey, this is not okay. Like, and I used to do it before, but as like a brat, like a tantrum, like it was like a child, like, kind of thing, not like an adult. So I just saying that because it's like, it's crazy how just shifting something, a memory, what happened, but shifting how I feel in relation to that situation gives you your power back. So it's awesome.
And like, probably Veronica will geek out about the quantum science of it, but in quantum, physics, apparently their time is an illusion, and past, present, and future all exist at the same time. And so when you make a ripple from your past, like, you're affecting yourself now and in the future. And I mean, that's a whole nother wormhole you could get into, but that's just the potential that this method has. And I definitely really believe that a lot of people need to do it. So if you have any questions about it, let me know. Anything about tapping or how it works or whatever we didn't cover here, feel free to DM me. I'll answer all your questions if I didn't answer them here.
Yeah, so her IG, guys, if you want to, it's underscore Brooke Diaz underscore. And you can, if you don't, you can't find it or whatever, just email support@rootcauseclinic.co, and support can get you in touch with Brooke. And if you have questions, she'll be happy to answer. If you want to DM Root Cause Clinic, you can DM us as well, and we'll be happy to kind of help you. And there's Emotion Code, which is different if you want to learn about that. She also does that. And honestly, like, Emotion Code, I feel like a lot of people know about it. And EFT is like, I've seen people do tapping like on IG, but it is nothing like this. Like, it's nothing like the experience with Brooke. And I just say it because I feel like this it's like I feel like emotion code is more like layers and peeling away layers of the onion, and I feel like this is like straight shot. Like you're gonna deal with that, whatever it is that's holding you back a lot sooner. Again, if you're vulnerable, and allow yourself to go there, right? Because there are some people who may still not be ready, and so they may not be in touch or in tune with themselves enough to be okay with what's coming up. So anyway, I don't know if there's any questions, but I know that we do have another something that we have to get done, so we have to get off of here. But
there was one question. Someone asked if it's like affecting the amygdala or calming down the amygdala. Yes, that's what tapping does. The amygdala is that fight or flight response area of the brain, and when you tap, you are telling it it's okay, you're safe, basically, when you tap. So and then I think it was Amber who is mentioning how to book. If you just go to our website, Root Cause Clinic's website, you will be able to see like under services. That's where you can book. So
yeah,
but,
so if you have sorry, I just actually changed the website like 2 or 3 days ago. So let me tell you where it's at. A lot of people have asked about House of Hurts, and so I added a little tab for House of Hurts. So I didn't. I actually combined the services in store all under one little drop down. But if you look at the services, it'll be like the 5th one down. You'll see EFT tapping. And then you'll see, I think it says a motion code on there. And if you click on those 2 links, they each are their own page because there's so much information for you to delve deep into on each topic that they each have their own separate page. But when you scroll all the way to the bottom, it'll say book now, and you can book now. It's at the bottom because you have all the front loading of all the information. And then at the bottom, you can book now, and it'll take you to Brooke's calendar. And I want to talk about this really fast. We actually have, it's probably going to be launching next week, a membership program. So if you want to do this, I don't want you to hold off in like your healing journey, but I would just say hold off because you're going to see some amazing savings for the membership service that we're doing for Root Cause Clinic. It's going to be for one person, it's $50 a month for the membership. And if it's a family of 2 or more in the same household, it'll be $100 a month. 2 or 10, if you're like me who has a million kids, it's only $100 for the family. It is an annual commitment. However, it's going to get you 25% off of all of Brooke's services that she does, and 30% off our 8-week packages, 25% off our one-time experiences, and 20% off of the protocols. We've never discounted protocols before. But after working for a year and a half with Root Cause Clinic, we really want the masses to be able to have access to this. People who are low income, people who are, on the fence, who can't afford it because of insurance or whatever. We have financing as well. Go to our website, and I think it says resources or education. I can't remember. There's actually a whole page where you can apply for financing for your healing journey. So we have options, guys. And the reason I say this is because everybody needs to prioritize this. I really think that whatever those blocks are that you're putting in front of you to say, I can't do it because of, you can. And I say it because when someone is determined to get better, they will get better. They will find the way to make it happen. When you want to be stuck, you will stay stuck. It's your choice.
Yeah, and speaking of that, if you have limiting beliefs and like issues with money or anything like that, tapping's great for that too. So literally anything, I mean it, like you can do tapping for anything. So if I wasn't able to answer any of the other questions, guys, again, feel free to message me and I'll be happy to help you out.
All right,
Deanna. Thank you so much. You're amazing.
You're sweet.
For being vulnerable.
Yeah,
if you're still not feeling good, tell me and we'll after this and
I'll message you.
Yeah.
Right now. All right. Bye, everybody.
All right. Bye, everybody. Thank you.